Hey guys, Jayvee here, and today we're looking at the patch notes for the River Raids update in Valhalla. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell for more videos just like this. Patch 1.1.2 is going live tomorrow morning, February 16th. And yes, this one actually has new content. It's the first new content we've gotten since the Yule Festival in the form of river raids. We're going to be able to play these tomorrow. There's also a ton of fixes. They're still patching up this game. Lots of bugs are affecting people. So we're going to cover the highlights, but the full notes, if you want to look for something specific, are linked in the description below. Also, before we hop in, guys, I'm going to stream this thing right when it comes out tomorrow morning. So if you're interested in that, make sure you're subbed so you don't miss it. Let's start with the most exciting thing about this update, the first piece of free content, River Raids. Prepare your Jomsviking crew for this new, highly replayable mode that will take you to unexplored regions of England, which is full of raiding opportunities. New loot, rewards, and challenges await the Raven clan. And then the River Raids mode is part of the Yule season content. It is free for all Valhalla players, and it's accessible in-game after downloading the update. Couple things stood out to me. First off, we don't know exactly how the mode is going to work yet. It's still very vague, and this is pretty much the information we had before now. However, knowing that we're going to go to unexplored regions of England is interesting. It's phrasing that we kind of already knew. We knew that these maps would be new, but parts of England we couldn't reach. I mean, you can kind of look around and think maybe it's to the north or to the west, to those regions that are not accessible. And then where it says this is part of the Yule season content and free for all players, I wouldn't expect this to be seasonal, like it's gonna go away at some point. I've seen some confusion about that on social media. Yeah, I think this is a permanent new addition to the game. Outside of that, we're just gonna have to play to find out exactly how River Raids works. Let's dive into those new abilities coming with the update. First is Berserker Trap. This attaches a trap to your arrow, spreading hallucinatory powder. Any nearby movement causes the trap to trigger. Battle Cry. In a fit of rage, Eivor lets out a blood-curdling scream, gaining strength and causing nearby enemies to stumble backwards in fear, interrupting their attacks. And Shoulder Bash. Eivor performs a shoulder bash that pushes back enemies and destroys objects. These are cool. It's nice that we have a new little tool if you want to play more stealthily with Berserker Trap. That should be fun. And then I quite like the idea of the Shoulder Bash. That sounds fun to me. And then the Battle Cry, I can just imagine doing that. If I ever need a moment to heal or something, I can use that and then heal up. On to new skills. Now, if you've been watching my videos, you know some of these got leaked a while ago. So let's go through real quick. Assassin Carry, automatically carry a body after a successful assassination. Assassin Slide, slide into enemies and knock them off balance while sprinting. Power Stroke, trigger a speed boost on the long ship at the cost of stamina. Arrow Looter, Eivor has a greater chance of looting arrows from archers. Fight Ready, always start a fight with an adrenaline-filled slot. And Longship Brace, when you're in command of the longship, the crew will raise their shield with you. Like I said before, I'm not super impressed with stuff like automatically carrying a body or greater chance of looting arrows. Those aren't my favorite kinds of skills, but like Assassin Slide sounds really cool. I'm fascinated to see what that looks like. And then you've got some very specific River Raids updates that'll be nice for this new content in Power Stroke and Longship Brace. I'm wondering if our power level is going to shift up. I think if it were, they would have told us. So in my head, it feels like power level 400 is still like the cap. That's where we're staying, but we're going to over level and get some more skill points and spend those for these new ones. Now we're diving into the massive fixes section. So if you're looking for something specific, just check the full patch notes below. Under miscellaneous, they fixed a bunch of random stuff. What stood out to me is some glitches with catching fish and their respawn timers. So if you're going for a completionist playthrough, you're trying to get that swordfish weapon that not a lot of people have. Luckily, they've fixed some stuff there. And then they fixed an issue preventing fabric from being available. That's really good. I know a lot of people just couldn't find fabric. It's not an issue I ran into, but good to hear it's fixed. Under balancing, they removed the diamond rune slot from all gear sets other than the torso. This is something Ubi said they were going to do, I think, like weeks ago. And apparently this was not supposed to be the case. The only gear it's supposed to have a diamond slot is the torso, and people have been getting mad about, spending real money in the Helix store on gear only to have those slots removed. The good thing though is if you had a rune in those slots, it'll refund and appear back in your inventory. Under graphics, audio, and animation, they addressed a lot of issues with general graphics, lighting, textures, animation, and clipping. It's always nice to see those things improve. I really hope that certain armor sets stop clipping through capes. And honestly, I've stopped using my capes. I've hidden them because it just doesn't look as good as I'd like it to. So hopefully those improve. And the biggest section, like in every single patch, is quests, world events, and side activities. And I know there's so many issues that you guys are dealing with. The two that stood out to me are addressing the issue interacting with Tove. I heard that was a problem. You couldn't even customize Eivor at all after a certain point. So that's been addressed. And then there's an issue with the final order member not being revealed. Oh my gosh, you guys have sent me so many messages about this since launch. Finally, that's being addressed. Under gameplay, combat, and AI, of course, the one that stood out to me is the Nodens arc. So they fixed the exploit that was first reported by Joraptor, where you could save and reload and break the rock in order to get Nodens arc without Excalibur. That's been addressed now, so you can't exploit the game like that. You actually have to get Excalibur, and then you have to go at sundown and hit that rock in order to get Nodens arc. Under user interface and HUD, there are a lot of specific things here. What stood out to me is they address an issue causing data corrupt errors after entering the save menu. I don't know about you guys, but there's been a lot of weird saving issues in the last several weeks. My game wouldn't load my most recent save, and I had to dig through the load menu to find the correct cloud save. And even though I was manual saving, it wasn't loading that either. So I really hope this stuff is addressed. Under system, they address an issue causing online service errors when hovering over photos. Guys, this would happen every single time I booted up my game, so glad they're fixing that. And then they address issues with the game getting stuck in save and load menus. I've also run into that. Finally, under performance and stability, of course, they improved performance and stability. This is something we'll have to test once we download the update tomorrow. Before we close out the video, just wanted to give you guys a small update on the Odin's illusory runes. Guys, there just hasn't been a new rune found. We've only got 5, and so many more dedicated people than me even have been searching everywhere for them. So I appreciate all the messages. You guys have been sending me a lot of clues and hints, but I don't think we found anything substantial. We're just gonna have to wait. All right, guys, that is it. Once again, I plan to make a whole guide on river raids once I figure out that system, so expect that tomorrow, potentially the day after. And then in the morning, I will be streaming it live once the river raids update is out. So once again, make sure you subscribe to my channel so you don't miss that. You can also follow me on Twitter. I'm at jayveeonYT, and Instagram, jayvee.yt, in order to stay up to date on all of my new content. And if you want to chat more with this community about Assassin's Creed or other games, join our community Discord server over at discord.gg/jayveeonYT. Links for everything are in the description below. Big thanks to my YouTube members, Ultra fans Dave, Grass, Deadwalker, Cullen, Bill, and Cam. Superfans Kamal, Casey, Tipsy Sergey, Tarl K, Ryan, Tia, and Rabbi. Fans John, Matthew, Spyro, JVO, Level 42, Joe, Lilman, and Bloodsky. And supporters Nos, Sung, Adam, Mr. Hollow, Quickness, Firkin, John, Jay, Sam, and Abhishek for supporting the channel. If you want to support me further, click the join button below this video. In exchange for your support, you'll unlock custom badges, emotes, and monthly members-only play sessions with the community. Check the link in the description for more information. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.